guys, my name is Crystal. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome old subscribers, welcome new. If you like my videos, please press the like button. Please do subscribe. Thank you for your support. Good morning, viewers. Good morning, Alexa. Alexa, good morning.
Good morning, and a happy birthday to music superstar Celine Dion. Her career started so long ago, but it's all coming back to me now.
So it's Celine Dion's birthday today, and she's been through some tough times as well. Alexa, celebrity birthdays.
Today's famous birthdays include Canadian recording artist, singer Celine Dion, English musician, singer, songwriter, and guitarist Eric Clapton, English journalist and television host Piers Morgan, American singer-songwriter Tracy Chapman, and American actor, producer, screenwriter and director Warren Beatty.
So it's Piers Morgan's birthday today. Alexa, how old is Piers Morgan?
Piers Morgan is 58 years old.
He's older than me. Alexa, how old is Celine Dion?
Celine Dion is 55 years old.
She's a year older than me. A few months. And Alexa, how old is Warren Beatty?
Warren Beatty is 86 years old.
Wow. I remember him when he was a handsome young man, old Warren Beatty, in films. He played Clyde in Bonnie and Clyde years ago. Right guys, good morning. I'm just about to have my Benecol, as I was advised to by my doctor at St Mary's Medical Centre in Strood, so I'm going to have my Benecol. It's supposed to lower my cholesterol because it's not high, but apparently it's 5.9. I don't want it to go any higher, because above 10 is bad. So 5.9 is just over the middle, and I don't want that. I want it lower. So I went to the doctor's yesterday. I didn't find the consultation very helpful. She didn't tell me anything I already didn't know, and I wanted some proper help with my depression, and I haven't got it. But I'm not the only person going through this. I'm not, people are being left to help themselves, basically. Help and support themselves. And if a doctor can't do their job, they shouldn't be a doctor. It's as simple as that, but nobody is keeping an eye on anybody anymore, so it's everybody for themselves, like dog eat dog. So I'm just going to get on with it, right? Just going to get on with it. She didn't take my blood pressure. I've had a blood test, it's completely normal, but sometimes people can have things wrong with them, and a blood test doesn't show. Anyway, I've got to go to the hospital for them to do an ultrasound on my neck in April to keep an eye on this lump, which grows a few millimetres every year, which is supposed to be a cyst, a benign cyst. But I haven't got any faith in the Medway Maritime Hospital either, to be quite honest with you. It was a hospital that was not very good at one point. It was below standard, so I don't know if it's above standard now or it's standard, but it was below standard. So I haven't got any faith in that hospital at all. I've seen somebody sue the hospital on the television for vast amounts of money for things going wrong at that hospital. So I haven't got any faith in that hospital at all. At the moment, it's at night, it's in the evening. I don't know why, but I start to get depressed. And it used to happen at Lansdowne Court as well. Like just after 6, I started to get depressed and upset. I just wanted a bit of cheering up, someone to make me feel better, but unfortunately when I was on the field, my mum made me feel worse when she rang the phone. I'm off to bed, she talked to me for 2 minutes, said that she was going off to bed and to not take any notice of what's going on, to ignore it, ignore being called names and just carry on. And she told me to go back to the doctor and keep trying. But I mean, I've been doing this for a long time now, and you know, you just want somebody to tell you everything's going to be all right. But my mum has got this really, really bellowing, loud voice, and I was on the field, and then she yelled down the phone, and then there was a Scott Line boat, and it started they started banging on the boat. This was getting on for 8 o'clock in the evening when it was getting dark. My mum booms on the phone while I'm walking past the riverside. There's loads of couples about, there's people on the field, right? Because I'm walking near the water's edge, and my mum yells at me down the phone. Then the Scott Line boat, the guys on it start banging and working on the boat at nearly 8 o'clock in the evening. But there are people on the field, so I don't feel like totally alone and depressed and terrible. There's people on the field. I haven't had a male boyfriend for some time, I haven't. So I'm on my own in the evenings, but Max is always by my side. I mean, a pet does help depression and people suffering from loneliness. It's not a case of being sad, it's the things have panned out in my life. I had a messy, nasty divorce. I lost my children. I was made homeless. I lost my home 2 or 3 times. The landlords were cruel to me and locked me out of my property and took all my belongings, including my gold wedding ring. They took everything. I lost everything more than once, and I kept picking myself back up again from nothing, right? It's not a case of being sad, it's how I've been treated and left to fend for myself at times, find food when I've got no money. It's been a hard time, and it has been for lots of people. Right now they're going through it. So I know what it feels like to be on the streets, to have no money, to have nothing, not to even have a roof over my head. I do know, because I know from experience, some politicians have grown up from hard backgrounds, but you know, when royals go out and say they've been homeless for a day, try 2.5 years. Try living in solitary confinement in a room with no company, no one to talk to, no money and nothing for 6 months. I was in a women's refuge on my own in a room with nothing in it. I mean, you've got to help people, you've got to have experience of going through what they've gone through yourself. It's not going through public school and colleges and having degrees. It's actually working yourself up from the streets and knowing how real people live and how hard life is. Then you can help people. That's what I believe. Right, so I came back from the field in the evening. I'd shaken myself out of depression, and my mum did not help. She boomed down the phone and made me feel worse. I got indoors and I started to think, why do I bother? And then I went through my DVDs and I thought, come on, Crystal, don't let the bastards get you down. They're just trying to crush you because they have something to hide, and you keep carrying on, girl. Keep carrying on. And if people want, when I go outside, they want to make out I'm a member of the trans community, that's completely up to them, right? But I'm not. I support the trans community. I believe every person should be who they want to be, right? I believe that. But I'm not a trans person myself. I support them. I would help anybody, right? But I'm not one myself. I'm a female. I was born a female and I always have been female, right? I've got my birth certificate which says birth, Lewisham, London, gender, girl. I believe whoever's sending me messages on Facebook has got something to do with it. They said to me, you've got big boobs, tits, breasts, whatever you like to call them, before I went out yesterday. So I walked to Strood. And I've seen women with bigger breasts than me. Mine aren't that big. They're not that enormous. Like they're taking the mickey. Something else, whatever I say, they use. And I don't understand it. And how is that able to happen? I should be able to walk outside in the real world, speak to real people, do real things, and be left alone to my real self. I mean, it's not a comedy. You shouldn't laugh at people. I don't know what I'm going to do today. I had a parcel re-delivered for today, and I thought it clashes with an eye test. And you've got to decide, oh my God, because I thought the eye test was Friday. I was going to go out to Chatham on Friday. So it clashes with the eye test, you see. So I'm thinking, right, what is this parcel? Is it anything important? Because they can't leave it because they rang my buzzer last time. So I'm going to wait for the parcel and see what happens. I'm going to take Max out for a walk and I'm going to just carry on. As my mum said to me on the field last night, Janestra, why don't you carry on as usual? Now it's her, Jennifer, that says she's carrying on as usual to people that knock on her front door about me. So last night Jennifer said to me, why don't you carry on as usual, Janestra? She didn't say why don't you carry on as usual, Jennifer, because Jennifer is not my name. And to be honest, I'm getting sick and tired of it all. Sick and tired of it all. And giving me Benecol. I mean, why didn't she say Actimel? Because Benecol is actually supposed to lower your cholesterol. I want a real doctor's appointment with a real doctor. And I don't even know if I'd get a real doctor if I paid private. Do you know that? And it's all very well giving me money, and I don't know whether it's giving me money to shut my mouth, just to just ignore what's going on and just put up with it. And here's a bit of money. But it's not money to make my life greater, better. I can get a few clothes with it. I can buy myself an extra joint for Sunday lunch, but I can't buy big things. I can't get myself a washing machine. mean, this is exactly what my father Derek was doing when he took me to the supermarkets before he took me to the holiday places. Ginestra, and he didn't say Jennifer, he said Ginestra, put whatever you want in the trolley, put anything I like in the trolley, and I was missing my children. I wanted to see my children. I didn't want to go on holiday with my dad. I wanted to see my kids. I think my mum can be a very heartless woman at times, very heartless and unforgiving and uncaring, and it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I mean, her calling me Ginestra, which sounds like Jennifer, I've almost got run over. I've got attacked in the street. And, oh, I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed. Just carry on as usual and ignore it. Ignore it. My mum is old now, but she's been like it ever since I've known her. Like I said, I want to go and visit my dad's, where my dad was, his remains were scattered around Bluebell Hill Cemetery. My sister was cremated, she was burnt, and we have to face it that cremating someone is cheaper than burying them, and it's a lot less trouble. So my sister was cremated, my dad was cremated. Obviously royals are buried because they're important, and they're in lead-lined coffins because the body takes longer to decompose in a lead-lined coffin. That's why, so when the Queen was placed for everybody to view, she was in a lead-lined coffin, and the body doesn't decompose as fast, so it didn't smell, did it? But that's what people were viewing, a decomposing body inside a coffin. They didn't actually see the Queen because the casket wasn't open, but they were viewing a decomposing body. And my dad's body was in the hospital mortuary for over 2 weeks, nearly 3 weeks, and I kept going on, I want to see my dad, I want to see my dad, and eventually they caved in and let me see my dad's dead body in the Co-op funeral service in Chatham, and his face had decomposed. That body wasn't fit for me to view it. The face had decomposed, and they'd had to stitch it up and put it back together. And why they wanted to do an autopsy on my father when he had heart failure and COPD, they usually do that under suspicious circumstances. So you know, it's just horrible. Cutting up my dad, the thought of it makes me want to be sick. So it was cruel and unnecessary. Also, it just woke me up to what really goes on in the world, how cruel people are, and callous and wicked, and that I want to make the most of my life, because if that's what they do with you after you die, I don't want anything. I just making the most of my life. If you're rich, you get treated like royalty. If you're poor, you get treated like shit. When you're alive and when you die. And during coronavirus, a lot of things went on that shouldn't have. A lot of things people have got away with. When people died in hospital by themselves due to coronavirus conditions, when people couldn't go to funerals and visit their own family, it's disgusting. And it does make you wonder what goes on even when conditions like that aren't in use in real life, in the real world. What do they really do with you when you're gone? Because I've seen what they did to my father. I've got nothing to lose. I've lost everything. I lost my kids, I lost my home, I've lost my dad, I've lost my sister, I've lost my brother. And I will expose the truth. And I will continue to do so whether people like it or not. See you later.